Hello, Reds fans. Welcome to the YNWA Transfer News channel. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for your daily latest news.
Hello, and welcome to YNWA Transfer News, your ultimate source for all Liverpool FC transfer news. Our first news is this. Ekitike sends Alexander Isak transfer message after 79M star's first Liverpool goal. He's Liverpool's new $79 million center forward who may not be their first choice center forward by the time the summer transfer window is closed. But Ekitike made a big impression in his competitive debut for his new club at Wembley on Sunday. The France under-21 international, signed from Eintracht Frankfurt this summer, didn't take long in showcasing his quality either, handing Arne Slot's men the perfect start to their Community Shield clash with Crystal Palace, scoring inside 4 minutes and coming after the pre-match minutes silence to Diogo Jota had been forced to end early. Ekitike, 23, combined smartly with fellow new boy Florian Wirtz on the edge of the Palace penalty area, drifting in from the left onto his right foot, and firing a fine low effort from 20 yards into the far corner that left Palace goalkeeper Dean Henderson grasping at thin air. It was a strike reminiscent of Ekitike's last on English soil for Frankfurt against Spurs in the Europa League last season. "It's a brilliant goal," said Ali McCoist, speaking on commentary for TNT Sport. "When the ball gets played in, to him he thinks about a backheel but decides against it. What a way to say hello to everybody." As he wheeled away to celebrate, it was notable what came next. The Frenchman headed away towards the corner flag, initially holding out his arms and hands as if to say, "Keep calm, I've got this." Then, somewhat solemn-faced, mimicked a talking gesture with both hands. Make no mistake, he's heard the noise concerning the Reds' interest in Alexander Isak, and this was his response. "He celebrates by using his hands as mouths," said Glenn Murray, speaking on BBC Radio 5 Live. There has been a lot of noise about Alexander Isak, but Ekitike is blocking out the noise and is saying, "I'm here." He duly smiled and took the acclaim from his new teammates. All smiles as he received a pat on the chat from Wirtz, with whom his link up at Wembley was excellent throughout. The two newsboys from the Bundesliga very much on the same wavelength throughout. Certainly his 70-minute cameo in London showed that the 6'3" forward is going to be a problem for Premier League centre-backs this term, with his blend of pace, smart movement, and sheer power. Not just that, but he gets into positions repeatedly to get shots off, and on another day could have had a hat trick, and when he went off, well, Liverpool weren't as threatening, went a little limp in attack, and ultimately fell to a penalty shootout defeat. But intrigue remains over Alexander Isak, Liverpool's interest, and just how much they're willing to push Newcastle United this summer in their quest to land the Sweden international. Newcastle are standing their ground, and only smashing the British transfer record again is going to do the trick. But until that happens, Ekitike is blocking out the noise and looking to show he's got this. Second news. Liverpool supporters have already mined up minds about transfer before Alexander Isak outcome. Funny how history repeats. The last time Liverpool were in Community Shield action, their big-money striker's summer arrival marked the occasion with a goal to prompt fevered anticipation among supporters of what was to come. Frustratingly, Darwin Núñez never truly lived up to his initial billing, despite having left the club on Saturday for Saudi Arabia as a Premier League winner. It would wise, then, for expectations to be tempered around Ekitike after the $79 million signing from Eintracht. Frankfurt announced himself in emphatic fashion during Sunday's clash against Crystal Palace at Wembley. But it was difficult not to be enthused by the performance of the Frenchman, not least given he has spent less than 3 weeks with his new teammates and has just 2 previous Liverpool appearances under his belt. Certainly, Ekitike couldn't have started any better here. Only 4 minutes were on the clock when, having twice exchanged passes with fellow new signing Florian Wirtz down the inside left channel, He cut inside onto his right foot and thumped into the bottom corner from the edge of the area. While the finish was, in some respects, akin to Núñez in being unexpectedly spectacular, that Ekitike drifted back onside when accepting the initial ball from Wirtz could be argued as being very much unlike his former teammate. And there were other aspects of Ekitike's game that impressed, showing strength up against the physical. Palace defenders, paced to stretch the opposing rearguard and already in understanding with several of his teammates, Wirtz and Cody Gakpo in particular. One touch that sent Mohamed Salah scurrying away in the first half was sublime, and Ekitike was close with a chance after the break, having earlier sent a decent header wastefully wide. Of course, the sample size is small, and there's the fact Liverpool still want to bolster their attack with another forward, Newcastle United's Alexander Isak, still their main target, but the fans have already made up their minds. It didn't take long for Hugo chants to come from the Liverpool supporters inside Wembley, repurposing their salute to the departed Núñez. Ekitike was replaced with 20 minutes remaining, his job done long before the debacle of the penalty shootout, which meant the forward, unlike Núñez 3 years previous, couldn't celebrate silverware come full time. His signing was never about this match. But Ekitike has made an encouraging first step. RD News. Liverpool's next 5 fixtures after Crystal Palace defeat in Community Shield clash. Liverpool have now completed their preparations for the start to the Premier League season after the conclusion of the 2025 Community Shield tie. The Reds lost to Crystal Palace on a penalty shootout after being held to a 2-2 draw after 90 minutes. Summer signings Hugo Ekitike and Jeremy Frimpong were on the score sheet in the first half for Liverpool at Wembley Stadium, with Jean-Philippe Mateta on target from the penalty spot for Palace. Ismaila Sarr equalized a second time for Palace after the break, and the tie went to a penalty shootout, which the Reds went on to lose 3-2 in the capital. Arne Slot and co. will now look ahead to their Premier League title defense, which gets underway on Friday night against AFC Bournemouth at Anfield. It will also be an opportunity for Milos Kerkez to take on his former club following his $40 million move to the Reds earlier in the summer. Eddie Howe may have told Liverpool exactly what it needed to hear regarding Alexander Isak. Newcastle. Manager Eddie Howe has admitted he can't single-handedly stop Alexander Isak from leaving the club this summer. Isak's future took another turn on Saturday amid ongoing rumors of a Liverpool move. The Reds have already seen one bid rejected, and currently, there are no plans to make another offer. However, reports on Saturday suggested that any further attempts to sign the 25-year-old would be in vain, as Newcastle's Saudi owners have reportedly told Isak he will not be sold this summer. The decision has been taken out of Howe's hands, even though Newcastle has yet to appoint a new sporting director following Paul Mitchell's departure. Asked whether Newcastle can prevent Isak from leaving, Howe said, "I don't think it's that straightforward. Otherwise, we'd have done that a long time ago. I don't think we're in a position to do that currently." Adding further hope for Liverpool, Howe hinted that Isak could still be sold, suggesting a deal might not be out of reach. He said, "I think everything is still in play. He is contracted to us. He is our player. The club basically make the decision on his future. I don't know what that will be. Of course, I have a preferred outcome. I want the best and strongest squad possible. I want the players that really want to play for this football club." Earlier this summer, reports suggested that Newcastle chairman Yasser Al-Rumayyan would decide Isak's future, with Howe simply managing the situation based on the club's direction. "Again, it is a decision that I won't make. That will be for other people to make," Howe said. "For me, I am just trying to manage the situation. And manage the team, most importantly. Manage the group of players I am working with day to day. I love coaching and helping. We are focused on Aston Villa. Everything else, from my perspective, is not in my control, so it is not my focus." Newcastle has suffered a significant injury blow ahead of the new Premier League season, as Anthony Gordon was forced off during the team's friendly against Atletico Madrid. The former Everton forward was leading the attack for the Magpies, while Isak remains sidelined and away from the squad. With the new league campaign just a week away, Gordon appears to be the frontrunner to lead the line for Howe's side in the Magpies opener. If he is out for a number of weeks, it puts doubts on Liverpool securing the Swedish international this summer. Liverpool lose Community Shield on penalties as Florian Wirtz's debut decision speaks volumes. Crystal Palace came from behind twice and kept their cool in the penalty shootout to beat Liverpool in the Community Shield. After a poignant tribute to Diogo Jota before kickoff, Hugo Ekitike put Liverpool ahead early on with a sharp turn and finish into the bottom corner from the edge of the box. But Palace were soon level, with Jean-Philippe Mateta coolly slotting in a penalty after Virgil van Dijk tripped Ismaila Sarr in the box. Jeremy Frimpong then restored the Reds' lead when his stabbed cross went over Dean Henderson and into the far corner. Alisson kept out shots from Chris Richards and Ebereki Eze as Palace searched for a second equalizer. Their deserved leveler came when Cody Gakpo was muscled off the ball and Adam Wharton sent Sarr through to beat Alisson one-on-one in the 77th minute. Mohamed Salah blasted a great chance straight at Henderson as the match went to penalties at a sun-soaked Wembley. Salah blasted his spot kick over the bar, and Alexis Mac Allister saw his saved by Henderson before Alisson kept Ebereki Eze's. But another save by Henderson from Harvey Elliott swung it back in Palace's favor, and they claimed the season opener as 21-year-old substitute Justin Devaney smashed in the winning penalty. Wirtz given the keys. When a team forks out $116 million for a player, you assume they will immediately become a key part of the side. And after glimpses of excitement throughout preseason here, was confirmation that Florian Wirtz will be given free rein in the Liverpool side. "I think I'm a player who needs freedom on the pitch, and the manager gives it to me," Wirtz said earlier this week. "Of course, I have to respect the position I'm in and the players around me, but I try to give my best on the pitch and find the right places, and I have the freedom for this here." The 22-year-old put that philosophy into practice at Wembley, gliding around the pitch to find space, link play, and cause Palace problems. It was from his pass that Ekitike opened the scoring, and there were many other instances of a relationship developing between Liverpool's two most expensive summer signings. Palace's predicament. While Liverpool's starting lineup boasted 4 new signings in the form of Wirtz, Ekitike, Frimpong, and Milos Kerkez, Palace's had an extremely familiar feeling. Oliver Glasner's side have not been busy in the market, signing just 2 players for a grand total of 3 mirrors and are in a difficult position. Their 2 star players, Mark Guehi and Ebereki Eze, both started at Wembley, but their futures at the club remain unclear. Guehi has less than a year left on his deal and has been targeted by Liverpool, while Eze remains a transfer target for Arsenal. There was a reminder of their other issue, with fans protesting against UEFA's decision to demote them from the Europa League to the Conference League. With Palace waiting on the Court of Arbitration for Sport, there is still a lot of dust left to settle. Liverpool's new fullbacks. For the best part of 8 years, Liverpool fans have got used to seeing Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson operating down the flanks. But with Alexander-Arnold having departed for Real Madrid and Robertson not the player he once was, this was a first look at a new fullback pairing. Frimpong and Kerkez have arrived this summer and showed why Slot was keen to sign them. The former Bayer Leverkusen star scored with a cross and bombed up and down the right side, while Kerkez frequently looked to get forward, at times leaving a huge space for Palace to exploit when the ball was turned over. As Jamie Carragher noted on X, LFC looking great going forward, but susceptible defensively, as we've seen all preseason. A lot of the goals conceded by LFC have come from going man-to-man really aggressively and leaving space in behind. Today, Kerkez is getting dragged inside with Sarr, leaving Gakpo chasing WB, While Alexander-Arnold's passing ability can't be replicated, Frimpong's speed and engine is a major asset, while Kerkez has similar characteristics to Robertson, who was on the bench on Sunday. Wharton versus Jones, with Ryan Gravenberch sitting. The match out after becoming a father, and with Alexis McAllister not arriving on the pitch until the 71st minute. Curtis Jones was given a chance to impress in a deep-lying midfield role for Liverpool. The England midfielder was exemplary and tidy, completing all 53 of his passes. But it was Adam Wharton who caught the eye in the middle of the pitch, growing into the game in the second half. The classy left-footer dictated play for Palace, knitting together attacks and probing before sending Sarr through to make it 2-2. Having been hyped for a long time, could this be the season he explodes? New forward needed? It may sound strange, for a club that has spent around 300 million this summer, but Liverpool still need another forward this summer. Having sold Darwin Núñez and Luis Diaz, and tragically lost Jota, the Reds look short of depth up front. Federico Chiesa is slated to leave, and didn't make it off the bench at Wembley, and Liverpool lacked a focal point when Ekitike was withdrawn. The prospect of Alexander Isak arriving before the window closes on September 1st should terrify Liverpool's rivals and would complete a brilliant summer of business. Thank you for watching. Like and comment. Subscribe.